I have a very bad habit of making everything a business. Okay. Like as soon as I get good at something, I'm like, how can I make money off this?
You're an entrepreneur by nature.
And it's a blessing and a curse. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Thanks for Your Concern. You're here with Ella.
And I'm Berenice. What's up, Ella? How are you?
What's up? Dude, I love when we record in the mornings because this is like my best time. You know, when you hit me at the end of the day, I'm like ready to check the fuck out. So I'm lock and loaded today. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I am ready to get some shit done today. And that mentality, my head's in the game. There's days I wake up and I'm like, oh, wow. There's nothing I necessarily like super do because now I don't have like their self deadline.
Yeah.
Which is almost a little bit more spooks.
Definitely.
There's no supervisor here.
I was having this like, I don't know, conniption because so I bought a camera. I finally replaced my camera that I lost like ages ago. I filmed 31 pieces of content, right?
Wow.
Like I batch content. I had that bitch on slow-mo and it recorded no audio and just slow-mo. And I was like, oh fuck. And I was like, you know what? And I was literally like freaking out. I was like, you know what, babes? You're not about to get fired. Like, it's okay. We'll just try again another day.
Damn. Yeah. You know, now we know, and now we really check that you're never going to do that again.
I was like, that's the great thing about life is that you have something that happens and you're like, well, you know, when this matters, like when I'm fucking in Amsterdam and I literally can't reshoot this, at least I know that, like, make sure you're not in slow-mo, girl.
100%. Well, I'm excited, and I'm excited for you to come to New York very soon in like 2 weeks, right?
Yes, baby's first work trip. We love that. I'm so excited, and like literally my boss was like, yeah, if you have a buddy to stay in New York for, feel free to extend your trip. And I was like, do I have a buddy?
Bet.
You bet you I do. Okay, one more thing before I like get fully into the episode. This is a hot topic. Have you seen that Megan Thee Stallion is dating WSU alum?
The basketball player, right?
Yes.
Interesting.
Now, famous WSU alum, me and Berenice's alma mater. Do you remember seeing Klay Thompson in Stubby's one night?
Maybe.
Okay, so I remember it distinctly because it like brought me like back, like I was like teetering on like blackout zone, and I like clicked back in because I was like, oh my god, tall man, we know who that is. I was like, in my delusional mind, I was like, maybe this is my night.
I'm about this man.
Yeah. And then I remember you and I talking about it, but literally, you know, my freaking cousin and my boyfriend are like, that didn't happen. That might have been the same night that you gave Garden Minshew a mustache ride. And I was like, how fucking dare you?
No, I do remember him being in Pullman when we were there because they were like, you know, when they put your jersey up, like, and they retired your number or whatever, they were doing that for him. And I do remember going to the basketball game where they did that. But no, okay, I don't remember the Stubbies part, but that's probably because we had been drinking and the memory just out the window since that happened. So I don't think it didn't happen. I agree with you. I would put hundreds of dollars on this story.
So we've been in the same room as someone who's dating Megan Thee Stallion. That's beautiful.
Wow.
Not a lot of famous alums come out of WSU. Me and Berenice are next. So hang that on your hat. Hang your hat on that, baby.
I know. On like a grimmer note, another, unfortunately, Wazoo alum that came up this week was Brian, whatever, Waste of Space.
Oh,
the man that murdered 4 Idaho students. And yeah, he just got sentenced. Like literally, like I think yesterday? I don't know when you're listening to this, but yeah. So he's off to prison for the rest of his life.
I can't believe we've never talked about this, probably because it's really sad, but like a lot of the victim blaming is so scary because I mean, me and Berenice would accidentally leave our door open. Like we were probably some of the better people about locking our door, But I would say I know so many people that never locked their door. And I
Yeah,
literally know exactly which street that happened on because I spent a lot of time at U of I. It makes me really sad.
it does. It's really unfortunate because it is that type of town. Like, there's just nothing going on other than drunk people. So you don't like think that anything's going to happen to you. And
Right.
honestly, like, the way that the situation came out, like, they kind of went through everything, like, how people were like murdered. It makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't think there had to be that many victims. I think he was really going after one person. And then, like, there was just other people there, which happens in a in a
Yeah.
college live out because they had parties there. They call them live outs. Like, there's always people there, and that's why it
Mhm.
like feels safe because literally like your friends are your neighbors and they're like coming in and out. Like, you're never necessarily like alone. Really sad, but
Really sad.
luck. Yeah, luckily his sentence he's put away. He never like set the motive, which you can go down like rabbit holes on TikTok on anything where there's like people trying to like piece it together. There's a documentary that just came out on Amazon Prime that actually does like a very like an insight sort of like at what type of town U of I is in. It's like Moscow's is like teeny tiny town. So I would give it a watch if you're like curious about it, haven't heard about it.
Oh, Moscow, Idaho. I mean, I'm happy that there's some sort of peace for the families and for people around the situation. Having that person like on the street or not knowing who it would be, I think would be very long-term damaging.
Yeah, the sister of one of the victims came in and
Yeah.
it was the girl's girl. She was like, "You're basically like, you're pathetic, you're nothing, you don't matter." It's like, read him to filth, sis. But today we are talking about a slightly different topic.
Dude, so our topic this week is you look happier, and that trend that then it says thanks and then kind of insert. I've seen a lot of people do before and after pictures of their ex, and it makes me like very happy. But I'm telling you, you can tell how toxic of a person somebody is based on how good their ex looks after they broke up.
I don't even know if it's the person or it's the relationship. Like, there are toxic people out there. There are people that drain you, but I don't know. Like, I feel like you always have partake in that. You're draining yourself by staying in those situations.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
gotta remember the other person may not be compatible, but you're only being drained because you're pouring into the wrong thing.
Pouring into the wrong vessel, babes.
You gotta get out.
Oh, it reminds me of Little Mermaid when people make deals with Ursula and she just like sucks the life out of them. It's like, hey, but you signed on it, so then you're like, who's in the wrong here?
And I think that's the accountability part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I played part of my own suffering because I stayed for so long. Yeah, you can always tell. And then you can always tell on the opposite side when like it goes downhill.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe that doesn't even look like the person I dated, to be honest.
I always think it's funny because like I feel like I don't know how to put this, but I feel like women have like whenever they're like, I want to change my look, they have like a lot of options, that I feel like they can go for. But like when a man like is like a breakup, I want to change my look, he like grows out a mustache and then it's like like babes, the mustache isn't for you. Like
I mean, I don't know. There are certain ways. I think it does take more effort because now like you have to style your hair. You have to get a new style. There's
I
like
just think that because of toxic masculinity, men don't like want to put in the effort. So like they want to keep short hair. They don't want to grow their hair out. So like the only thing they have is their facial hair. Like when someone gets a fierce bob after a breakup.
been there. It's
Yeah.
really nice,
Oh,
honestly.
I agree.
And you look expensive. I think short hair makes people look expensive. If you have long hair and it's really taken care of, then it's nice. But it's really hard to have long hair that looks amazing all the time.
Mhm.
Frizz is real, regardless of where you live and your hair texture. I always think about that when I decide to cut my hair. Yes, it was after a breakup. Yes, I was carpe dieming. But also, it's so humid in New York that I went out for the first time, like first hot day of summer, and I saw everybody else's hair, and it was so gross, to be honest.
Mhm.
At
Yeah.
5 a.m. at the club, it was just not giving, and I was like, "It's gotta go. I can't look like this."
I honestly like I know I understand the emotional attachment to hair. Like I've been the girl in the chair crying over like 2 inches of hair. But babes, when you let go of that like straggly hair that's just dead, your hair looks so much better.
I've been on the opposite side where I'm like, chop it, and the hairdresser's like, no. Like,
They're like, "Are
do
you going
it.
through something? Why do you keep on wanting to take all your hair off?"
No, they just said, I just don't want you to be upset after this.
And you're like, "I get it."
And I was like, I need this.
Oh, but the I look happier trend, I feel like the one that speaks to me the most is like, thanks, I'm actually sleeping. Like that's what I
Yeah.
Cuz okay, like long story short, I might have gotten well, no, I did get diagnosed with bipolar like 2 years ago or something. And I don't really think I'm bipolar, like that doesn't resonate with me, but I think the reason I did that is because I just straight up was going through a period where I wasn't sleeping and I didn't really like feel it. But actually, that was a lie. I did feel it because now that I sleep 8 hours a day, I can tell you getting 2 hours of sleep for an extended period of time, or 3 hours or 4 hours, and then like 10 hours one day does fuck with you.
Yeah. I can always tell I get really like agitated. My mental health just starts really not vibing. Like I get very, I don't know how else to describe it, but like a sharpness. Yeah. Sleep is key.
Yeah, I'm very much happier with 8 hours of sleep, baby.
You look happier. Thanks. I did quit a job that was extremely draining me and
Oh,
questioning my competency. Okay. Yeah, I here's the thing. I understand that there are some jobs where like it's the luck of the draw. It's paying for your lifestyle, so you have to like kind of endure maybe certain situations or treatment where it's like, yes, this person is requiring me a lot, but they're paying me $300,000 a
yeah.
year, and that seems fair to me.
Hmm.
However, I was massively getting underpaid for the amount of work that they were expecting me to do. And I just don't want to get got like that. Like, I don't like corporate America to begin with. So, like, I do stay humble, but it's like, if you're not paying for a lifestyle that I want, then I have no loyalties. And if you're going to be rude to me, I really have no loyalties. Like,
Yeah.
so people, yeah.
I left a job this year and like even if you are getting paid quote unquote fairly, the trade sometimes is crazy and I don't think that's necessary in corporate America. Okay, hey, here's this amount of money, but the trade is you work all the fucking time and your boss messages you at 3 a.m. and then expects a response by like 7 a.m. the next morning. I don't know that there's any amount of money that's worth that. And like for me, it's like, oh, you look so much happier. Yeah, I don't commute 2 hours every day.
Yeah, I think maybe that's something that because we were like pandemic into the workforce, like the first generation into the workforce when the pandemic happened. And I guess that made everything go remote. It's really hard to go back to a model that's not like that because I'm like, I'm spending 2, 3 like hours of my day literally just getting to work. That's crazy.
Yeah, and honestly, like I had this like dystopian thing happen where I was like the people who were pushing to be in office 5 days a week, I realized, "Oh, y'all can afford to live near here and you can afford to park here and you're not stressed out about how much it costs for gas to get here." Okay, so there is a reason why you don't mind coming into work.
There's also some people that are like, listen, it's not all parents, but
No.
I babysat for some parents and they wanted to get out of there.
I I tell you, like, the
They
one
should
time,
not be there.
bro, I had this it's crazy because you have these conversations. I felt very inspired by one of my colleagues because of, like, how amazing of a mom she was and how great her job she was, and, like, it really inspired me to be like, "Oh, wow, there are some people that have this capability to do both." But then I also had somebody who was like, "Oh, yeah, please send me to Cincinnati. I wanna get away from my kids for a week and a half." And I literally was like, and I'm not talking like this isn't like this was verbatim. And I was like, "Oh my god, what do you mean you want to go to Cincinnati, Ohio because you would like to get away from your kids for 2 weeks?"
Some people need a break, okay? I get it.
Yeah.
Mostly depends the type of kids you raise too, because so like I babysat for one family and the mom couldn't wait to go. And then the dad worked from home but that was also a shit show because obviously, like kids, if you're there, kids want your attention. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, they're babies, and he was like pretty mean to them, like kicking them out of his office. And I'm like, well, what do you expect? I can't entertain them, but if they're crying, screaming, I want my dad, I want my dad, what am I supposed to do? They're throwing themselves to the ground by your door. Am I supposed to drag him out of there? No, crazy. But
Anyways,
yeah.
if you're thinking about quitting your job, I truly believe this and I feel this fully. There are situations that like you can make a place better. Try that first, but then after that, fucking quit, dude. Don't be financially responsible. Make a best choice for you. But I think there are situations that you can make better because, you know, it's always just going to be like a different basket of problems. No place is going to be perfect.
Or at least be in an industry that you like.
Mm-hmm.
There were some perks of my last job. I didn't love it, but I was learning about like some like fashion aspects that I found really interesting, and I think like that's what kept me there. And there's some people that don't care for their industry and don't like their working. Switch. Something's got to keep you there. You know, there's got to be a level of motivation. Like at least I'm working in the music industry that I really like. And it just like lessens the load of feeling like, I have to be here.
I agree.
You look happier. Thanks. My old roommate moved out. And if you're listening, can you please send me the utilities that you owe me? Thank you.
Dude, roommate situations can make or break your happiness. I feel like it is so hard to deal with difficult people in a space where, like, of course you can leave your house, but that's your house. It's hard to compartmentalize a bad situation when it's supposed to be quote unquote home.
Yeah. And now I feel detached from the situation because it's like in the past, which is nice. But yeah, it's really also drains you. It's like a bad
Super
relationship
draining.
just because you're around it all the time. And like when that person gets home and you're like, ugh, they're out here fucking up the vibe, the energy.
Yeah, they're telling you they're gonna be out of town for 2 weeks, and you never get more excited in your life.
Well, no, because they never leave. Sometimes it's like you have people that are
Yeah.
literally like always home, and it's like, and if you don't like them, damn.
Honestly, if you're like looking for a roommate, the best roommate is someone that's like, I'm never home.
Then you enjoy when they're there. You kind of even crave for them to be home a little bit more, but they're still like not there all the time. You need a good balance, or at least someone that's down to clown. If you have a yes man of a roommate, if they're there, then that's cool because you're like, I want to do this, and they're like, okay.
You look happier. Thanks, I walk a lot. Babes, I have been walking and I'm not just like walking is like my form of meditation. So like honestly, any meditation's good. I was walking and scrolling or walking and listening, you know, I was like plugged in. Now I'm just like doing a meditative walk every day and it is really grounding. I just say meditation in general. They tell you to meditate and it just fucking is kind of hard to get into. But once you do it, you're like, okay, I'm a lot more grounded.
You know, a little walk can really switch up your vibe, your energy. There, I work from home, so there's days where I like truly don't need to go outside, but I will like be like, oh, I haven't gone outside. Like, let's go outside, even if it's like just around my neighborhood, or maybe I want to go get myself a little. I like going into bodegas that have like large drink assortments because I'm a drink person, and I just go try a new beverage.
I love that. I think it's like the simple things can really just reset the day and do something a little different. I think I work from home too, so you kind of have to like force yourself to go outside or you're in this like little box all day for days on end because you don't really have a reason to go outside except yeah, I've been trying to like be really more intentional and like put my phone away, try not to listen to stuff and just see the birds, see the sunshine and connect with humanity.
Period.
Makes me a lot happier.
You look happier. Thanks. I moved away from Seattle. Listen, no shade. Okay, lovely place. Truly beautiful. Right now, the summertime, the
Best time.
lakes. Oh, so I get like a sense of sometimes like I need to be there, but that only happens during the summertime. The rest of the time, the seasonal depression really gets.
I think it's the seasonal depression and also just like the waking up darkness, coming home from work darkness. Like that's truly like when I was the most depressed is when I was getting up before the sun rose and I was in the office before the sun even fucking came out. And then when I left the office for the day, the sun was fucking down. That is just I don't know. There's no way to really spin that. It's just depression.
Yeah. And she's small. She's not like that small. I think you can meet new and cool people here and there in Seattle, but there isn't anything necessarily like they very rarely open like, new places that people are like excited to go. But when you go, you get kind of like the same group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're not like getting into a refreshing scene. Like it's kind of just like more of the same.
We have the episode last week of like, this is your last. And since this is like my last summer in Seattle, I'm like really enjoying it because I'm like, when am I gonna be back? Like, I'm sure I'll be back to visit, but I'm like, oh, like I'm enjoying it. Like, let me do all the hikes I've never done yet for whatever fucking. I'm really excited about that, but I think everyone needs to get outside of their hometown. I swear to God, like, and not everyone can leave for college, and I think college is a little different. Like, I honestly feel like living some places in college, but I think that's why college is so rewarding, is because you have to like build new neural pathways, build a community from scratch, and I think those are really good life skills. I think getting out of your hometown is good for everybody.
Then you can romanticize it on days you want to. I saw a TikTok, you know Ari Krista? She does OnlyFans, but she's awesome. Okay. And she's awesome. She does OnlyFans and she's awesome. No, but and she lives in Seattle and she kind of talks about like I could never not live here. And I'm like, girl, stop romanticizing this place. She like went to Chelan. And I'm like, a little trip to Chelan would be we can't do it.
Well, my favorite artist, Banks, she lives in Seattle.
Really?
Yeah, she moved from LA to Seattle and lives in Seattle, and like
I
she's
see
very
that though.
private. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
very private, but like she was when I went to her concert, she was talking about how much she loves Seattle because there's mountains and water and everything, and like that is really special. Luckily, I spent a lot of time outdoors. Like I don't think I would ever live in Seattle if I was not an outdoor person, because I go on like 2 fucking hikes a week. How
Yeah.
beautiful is that?
Yeah. I definitely part of the whole scheme over here of like working for myself is so I can go home more often
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
spend longer periods of time there. Because I was getting into this habit of like when you have to work at a certain place, like I'll go to Seattle, but then coming back, I'm like, it's a time difference. I just like
Oh
was
yeah.
awake for 24 hours. I don't feel good. It takes me like 3 weeks to get back into my routine. But if you have like the flexibility to like be wherever you want, I'm like, I could really adjust to the lifestyle. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's just the path that we're in. I feel like right now you come to New York to like meet people and get better at your crafts and whatever.
Mhm.
But if I made it per se, like if I was baked and wanted just like not to be overwhelmed by things, Seattle does make a lot of sense.
I personally feel like I'm very dead set on getting out of Seattle now because I feel like I'm gonna come back, and if I don't leave now, I'll just fucking be here. You know what I'm saying? But you look happier now. Yeah, I have a fully remote job, babes. I'm about to have. I don't want to say. Okay, so I'll say this. I went to an estate sale. Did I tell you about the estate sale I went to? I don't. I can't remember if I did.
Yes, maybe.
Maybe yes. Anyways, estate sales really give you perspective because you just see everybody's shit all in a single fucking place. And I just was like, dude, I need to like be living this remote life to the fullest extent that it's possible. I'm slowly but surely getting rid of all of my things. I'm gonna be living out of like 3 suitcases, and we're gonna do a little hoppity hip hop hoppity hop. I'm gonna do a couple cities next year. All right. Why? Life is fucking short. You look happier. I know that there's only this one life. I'm really hoping that I live as long as possible. But if I die tomorrow, I don't think I want to die in this city, baby.
No, I mean I pitched Ella
I've
moving to
already
New
been
York.
on
I
it, dude. I've
once a
pre
quarter.
thought about it. I've pre thought about it.
Listen, we might want you here in November if you're willing. One unemployed people in an apartment queue. 2, 3, scary. But that's always how the pendulum swing goes. Moving around is like kind of fun. I think that it depends on the stage in your life. I feel like obviously like knowing you and living with you, I feel like you're in the era where you're ready to conquer new cities and things, you
Yeah,
know?
I
So
I look happier. Thanks. I gave up drinking, and I'm a lot more emotionally stable.
it
I can
does,
take on
yeah,
big challenges
help.
now.
Yes.
I would say like my life was kind of like that Always Sunny episode where they talk about how Charlie's the X Factor or the what's it? Not the X Factor. the unknown, you know? What the fuck they call it? Wild card. I was like a wild card for myself. It's like, dude, what fucking crazy shit am I gonna do to myself? But
It's like
now,
90% of the time, chilling. 10% spooky.
see, in the 10%, if we can eliminate that to 0, why wouldn't you? Like, there's a 1 in 10 chance that you're gonna do something that's gonna cause you anxiety. Why don't we just make that a 0 in 10 chance? Because now, if I make a mistake, it's like, well, I really did try my best. So I can live with myself.
And that's on developing your
Yeah.
frontal lobe, baby. I swear to God, once you develop that, your mentality, like you become more aware of certain risks that you're taking, and you're like, is it worth it? Is it worth the other 90% of my life? Sometimes the answer is no.
Most of the time, the answer is no. We're like getting to like a big old age, you know, like a big old age. And it not old, but just it's so cool to see people be confident. And I guess like me and Berenice say, like, just we've changed so much, but like from 21 to like 31, I think the biggest thing is that I'm just more confident. And that's really amazing. Like, look, you look happier now. Thank you. I'm not fucking super all up in my head all the time. I
Yeah.
believe in myself.
Yeah. That also comes in your surroundings. I feel like it was really difficult to be in a place where everybody was always so one way. I don't know how else to explain it. Like the place we went to college, it was just like very sorority. And I feel like when you try to fit into the place that you are in because there's nothing kind of else, and like if you want that like social aspect and like things like that, it you just are very kind of like trying to fit into a mold. And I think when you exit that environment and you're really like on your own, or you're surrounded by like other creative people and like people who support you and love you, you like touch grass and like are able to like truly grow into yourself and be confident in the parts that didn't fit into the mold per se. And what a beautiful time to be alive, honestly, because I wouldn't go back ever. You could not pay me to do that again.
I've always said this, you move, but you're still there. And so, like,
Yeah.
the first time around, when I was like, I need to get out of Pullman, and I moved from Pullman to Seattle, not a lot changed because I didn't change, but there was a significant improvement just because the vibe was different. It really sucks being in, like, if you're listening to this and you're in a small town, I understand your pain because when there's not a lot of shit going on, like how can you have a lot of shit going on if there's nothing going on in that town? Like, you know, like it's really hard to like create like a super creative environment in the middle of butt fuck nowhere.
Unless like that is the environment that you thrive in. Like I feel like there are people who thrive in like smaller environments and can really like
Sure.
blossom just based out of their personality. But yes, I do see the need of like a lot of people where they're like, I have to get out. Like I understand
Mhm.
that.
And just like more opportunities to collaborate. I think collaboration and community is such an important part of life. And Pullman, Washington, not a huge film community. You know what I'm saying? Like there weren't a lot of like there's not a lot of places showing documentaries and cool shorts, and like that's like something so cool about Seattle is there's like 10 different film clubs that I get to enjoy, you know? So even just small shit like that, like you look happier, like thanks. I'm like going out and doing things.
100%. You look happier at things. I stopped chasing losers that were a reflection of my trauma, okay? It started giving all that energy towards myself. I think a pivotal point of change in my life was when I was aware of my patterns of behavior regarding relationships.
Mhm.
And I said, how about I stop doing that because it's really exhausting to do all that. And maybe I should just like focus on the things that I need to do. And I did that, you know? And I think I remember after a few bad situations where I was like, I just keep doing this to myself. And it really like promote like relationship things for me. They take up so much mental space. And I'm like, why am I playing myself like this? Like, just focus. Like, you have goals, girl. Like, like, let's think about those. And I remember I met some people with some, like some red flags, things that I knew I would really like have to work at a relationship with this person. And I was just like, that's just not where my priority is. I just don't have a lot to pour into this because I want to pour into that. And I think that's honestly when things started clearing for me. Like literally, like
Mhm.
when it's like, oh, you want a relationship, be with someone that's compatible. that wants to make things like work with you, that doesn't have a lot of like unresolved trauma and issues that are going to come up and they're going to come up and they're going to come up. They're going to.
I think people confuse compatibility as in like you have to like the same shit or whatever, but I just feel like compatibility is just you guys get along enough that that's not the first huge hurdle. People do just date people that they don't even get along with, and I'm like, well, obviously this is going to be difficult. You guys don't like each other.
Or maybe not that they don't like each other, but personalities just don't mesh well together. And some people are like very attached. And I'm like, I think if you maybe took a little step back and gave yourself a little bit of space, you don't necessarily have to be like, I hate you. Just give yourself a little space and like think of like, is this person hearing what I'm saying? Do I feel heard? And if the answer is like, I'm fighting and I'm screaming half of the time to feel heard, then maybe they're just not at a place in their life where they can just like make space for what you're saying and like get what you're saying. There's that saying like, if you know, you know, if you don't know, you just don't know. And truly it's like that. Like sometimes you're like really trying to get someone to get your perspective, but their perspective is just so far different from yours. And I think like that's where the chasing potential is like, that's a reflection, it's a projection of what you would do in a situation, but they're themselves. So it's just a very not cohesive. It's giving no.
Some people just don't mesh, and I'm a lot happier because I'm trying to find my person instead of like just a good person. Because I've met a lot of really good dudes, but we just didn't meld. And that really sucks. Because it's a lot easier to be like, this guy's a fucking piece of shit. That's so easy. But they're like, damn, he's a really great guy. It's just not the right guy. That's tough.
The only time that a person is really like a piece of shit is if you really try to make it work with someone that does not want to make it work with you. Truly. Because they're going to show you that they don't care in so many ways, and the longer that you stick around, your level of like, he sucks is just going to boop, 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 boop. But he probably told you at the beginning.
Yeah.
Through words or actions. And if you give up at the beginning when you're like, oh, this person cheated on me, he's showing me he doesn't value the same things I value. Maybe I should go. You're like, oh yeah, he hurt me, he cheated on me, that sucks. But I feel like if you keep going back to a situation where it's like, oh, he proved to me 13 times how awful he was, I'm like, well, he proved it the first time, girl.
If it was all bad, then you wouldn't be interested, right? It's usually that it's like 20% bad, but that really should overshadow the 80%. But I just feel like that's not human nature if the other 80% is like, it's like obviously if you only had bad times, it would be so easy to break it off. But there's just, I don't know, sometimes overwhelming good times, even though it's overwhelming in occurrences. Like you've had 10 great times together or like 20 or 30 great nights together, but he cheats. Unfortunately, that 1% of the night that he did cheat, like that should overshadow the other good shit, but it just doesn't in our minds.
But that's also just the tip of the iceberg. Like, I feel like when it comes to like cheating and lying and doing things that just maybe are not honest and transparent, those are coming from like insecurities, right? So it's like, even if the action isn't cheating, it's gonna be something else. That issue's still there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe you just gotta let people work on themselves. I'm a solid believer of let people grow in your absence. Maybe they will end up being totally a beautiful person. A lot of people choose not to change, but some people do. And then maybe you'll re-meet them down the line and you guys can be in each other's lives in some way, shape, or form.
Honestly, it's really sad because it's like, you know what? If it's right, if it's meant to be, it'll be. It's never been. Like, that's kind of sad.
It's not over yet.
Well, I can't have it be with every single person I've said that about.
I don't know.
I've
gotten through a lot of like, though, if it's meant to be, it'll be. There's some people that come back and they're like a better version of themselves. And I'm just checked out. I'm just like, I would never. I'm good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank God for that, dude. Once I get over it, like I really get over it, which is thank God. At least there's that. I told myself that at least, like, I was like, I don't want to get into another relationship where I'm like truly over it.
Yeah.
Because then that's messy. And that's like weird.
I don't know. I don't know that I've always been fully over it, but I think there gets to a point where it doesn't even fucking matter.
Well, you have people being crazy and like, the stories where it's like they texted that person on their wedding day. It should have been you. That's crazy.
That's insane. I don't think I would never. Honestly, I hear people do things and like that, and I'm like, what in the heck are they talking about? That doesn't make any sense, though. Like, to me, I'm just not that type of logic doesn't make sense to me because what the fuck are you talking about? It should have been you, bitch. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Who's the person who's here is the person that matters. No one's been the person who you just texted hasn't been with you dealing with your shit for 2 years. Whether if it's shit or not, just like life. How fucking dare you? That kind of shit, I would like
crash out immediately. I would take a screenshot and send it to their spouse. Girl,
God,
don't do it.
If a dude said that to me, I would literally call his mom. I would figure out. I would go on Facebook. I would go through Facebook. I would literally call his mom. I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck is up with homeboy, but you need to call him.
Yeah, check in, bro. You
need to check in with that man. My like last one, like you look happier. Thank you. I finally bought a mixer. Okay, I be having the funnest fucking times with my DJ sets, and I honestly think it's because it's a pure hobby for me. I have a very bad habit of making everything business. Okay, like as soon as I get good at something, I'm like, how can I make money off this?
You're an entrepreneur by nature.
I'm just an entrepreneur by nature, and it's a blessing and a curse. So I just feel like because I haven't tried to monetize mixing and it is a pure hobby, I'm having so much fun.
I saw a DJ that said, like, my manifestation technique, yeah, why wouldn't I? I don't know. I never put a lot of pressure on it because I always had the fundamental belief, like, yeah, why wouldn't I blow up? Like, of course I will. You know, it's like attraction versus chasing. And I feel that. And you start navigating from a place of being than reaching.
Actually, the first time I did stand up, I said that to my friend because people are like, oh, you know how hard it is? And I'm like, yeah, but like, why couldn't it be me? Like, why couldn't I blow up? Like, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense because we're all just people here. Why is it one person versus another person? There's nothing about me that would preclude me from being successful.
Maybe we can try an open mic when you're here and I can try some of my material. I don't know if people are going to resonate. I'm funny, but like the things that I'm thinking of doing are all like
people love that shit. Let me tell you, we're in like the comedy depths of hell where we have people saying crazy shit on stage because it's like, fucking the woke mob is trying to silence me, so I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want at this open mic. Let me tell you, I tell everyone who wants to do comedy, prepare a set and go ahead and do it. And if you don't feel like doing it, go to enough open mics and realize, wow, anyone can go up there, huh?
Yeah, that is really the excuse when they go, it's fine, because it's like, it's comedy. It's a set.
It's comedy. Let me tell a joke about murdering women in front of all audience of all women because I refuse to read the room. And then have a woman come up to me being like, I'm really thankful that you made jokes that weren't about harming women. And you're like, dude,
the bar is low.
The bar is so low.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm a lot happier because I don't take shit that serious, but we're in a dead serious era, but we're having fun doing it.
Period. Good vibes only, light vibes, attraction vibes only. All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much for listening. As always, please subscribe and follow us on Instagram. We're at things4 you're concerned. I'm at Berenice Ideas M.
And I'm at LL Tutor. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.